So, no BS, this is going to be a different kind of crypto video on YouTube, one which I haven't seen done before. We have all seen the tier list trend. I've made a few of these videos myself, and they are quite useful in terms of information when done correctly and objectively. However, I thought of trying to visualize the information and analysis in an alternative way, and I think I figured out how to do it. This was one of the few communities in crypto remaining objective whilst everyone else was panicking. In March, April, where everywhere was doom and gloom, influencers were flip-flopping their opinions, mine stayed consistent to this community. It was clear we would get a recovery once Trump finished having his fun with the markets, and that's exactly what has occurred. Bitcoin hit a new high in May, something which only a few of us saw coming. But that's not even what I'm excited about. We now know Ethereum is what will kickstart our coins, and it has been performing strongly recently. The strength has been impressive, and ETH BTC looks as though it has bottomed. Simply put, if and when we reach previous highs and smash past for ETH, some of the strongest altcoins will be catching these 10, 20, 30x or even higher multiples, and this community will be at the forefront of making serious returns. Whether the explosive move happens over summer, in Q3, or right at the end of the year, maybe even at the start of next year, I don't actually mind. We're investors and the wait will be rewarded. All I know is the odds of it happening are higher than not, and it's an educated gamble worth taking. So the concept here is to visualize risk return, see what kind of projects sit where, and it should help you adjust your strategy over the next few months. There are many factors which go into determining risk return, a lot of analysis. Some of them are listed here, market cap, narrative, past performance, but the one I want to point out is gut instinct. I've been in this space for 6 years. That experience and knowledge is difficult to explain, but it most definitely is an important metric to consider. Let me quickly put this disclaimer in here. Of course, whilst I'm a financial advisor in real life, none of this is financial advice. These are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with me. Try to view this as educational for many people. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments or in Discord, and I'd prefer no abuse, but if you really can't help yourself, feel free. I've included a mixture of coins, high caps, mid caps, low caps, just to best illustrate this graph and to help provide better perspective on what your money gets you. We'll do a quick summary and overview at the end when the data has been plotted. Quick break to ask, why are you not part of the best free community in crypto? Join over 1,000 people determined to make money and help each other out. Sign up to the email newsletter too, it's all free, you've got no excuse, link down below. Starting off with Bitcoin, this one won't take long. I don't need to explain what this is, it's obviously the king of crypto, potentially going to break off from the cryptocurrency market and form its own asset class in the future. Increasing global adoption combined with game theory means this isn't going anywhere. If this fails, all of crypto is going to take a pretty big hit. Duh. So risk is as low as can be, but what about return? Well, over the long-term future, this could and should hit 500k, 1 million plus. It's kind of hard to quantify exactly what Bitcoin's going to get to. Over the next 5, 10, 20 years or whatever is what I'm talking, that's a given. But the purpose of this video is for this cycle, over the next 6 to 12 months, remainder of this year, potentially going into next year. I've seen predictions for 200k, 250, 300k. I hope it happens, but I have more of a conservative target here. 125 to 150k may mark the cycle top. Again, who knows? That's a 50% return from now. In the real world, that's fantastic. For crypto, that's not what we want, unless we're putting in 7-8 figures, which most of us aren't. Even in the best case scenario, we're getting a max 2x or so. For that reason, Bitcoin is in the low risk, low return category. Of course, that's not a bad thing, it just depends on your strategy. Moving on to Ethereum, we all know this is my favorite shitcoin. I've been a firm believer in ETH this whole cycle, especially this year. When it looked as though it was all over for ETH and its strength was deteriorating rapidly from Bitcoin's, I began to buy ETH every day and have been doing so for the last few months. My conviction has played out and we recently bounced quite nicely. Don't get me wrong, as a whole, the performance has still been shit this cycle, but the bottom may be in. The Petra upgrade came through, we got increasing transactions and volume on ETH. We know Trump's team is bullish, the ETFs are seeing inflows, and this is still the most institutionally respected chain out there. Stablecoins are getting more and more adoption, and the overwhelming majority of them sit on ETH, with DeFi at the heart of the network. As we swing back towards utility, the big players will be looking at Ethereum. All that being said, the risk is still relatively low given it's the second largest asset, but the potential return is higher than Bitcoin. It's a 2x to previous highs, let alone smashing past there and going into price discovery like Bitcoin did, and a 3-4x is still possible this cycle. Now to start moving across the graph to other areas, let's talk about Casper, one of the best performing coins in 2022 and 2023, many predicting this to be a future top 20 project, if not higher. A trilemma solving protocol labeling itself as digital silver to Bitcoin's digital gold. What sets Casper aside from other projects is the technology. Proof of work with BlockDAG tech, it sets itself apart from previous cemented layer ones like Solana, Ethereum, Cardano. It was fair launched, decent tokenomics, and a very, very smart team of developers. I want to keep it relatively brief with Casper because a full analysis video will be coming out shortly, but given the poor performance over the last 12 months, well, I should say disappointing instead of poor, it's easy to write this off as a project which won't go anywhere, and I am seeing a lot of people lose faith. But the fundamentals remain resolute. 10 blocks per second was achieved recently, which is very commendable, and there are rumors of smart contracts coming over the summer. Combine that with an insanely strong community and the ingredients are there for an explosive rally. The risk you're taking is moderate, perhaps even slightly lower as it's already established in the top 50 coins with a market cap of 2 billion, but the upside is still big. If this were to become a top 20, top 10 coin in the future, you're looking at 10x plus returns. It's a good example of a mid-risk but high potential return coin. I included Rio on this list because again, it's a coin popular within this community. It's within the real world asset narrative, a narrative which is yet to really take off, but I think it's a matter of when, not if. BlackRock are incredibly bullish on tokenization and RWA, and that will absolutely trickle down to investors once the time is right. Rio is a layer 1 ticking a lot of boxes. It allows the tokenization of assets with a primary focus on real estate. It has Realio Fund, which is DeFi. Districts is a metaverse type section allowing virtual land to be bought, and they recently announced that their freehold wallet will be released soon. Amongst other factors, staking is possible, it's Web3 compliant, and a unique proof of stake mechanism ensures the network remains secure. The team is doxed with plenty of experience, and Rio does have a very strong community on socials. At a current market cap of under 20 million, by the way, don't watch this, CMC's data is wrong, there is so much room for this to potentially grow. The risks are, however, it did go on a massive pump last year, all the way to above $2, so there could be existing bag holders waiting to dump their supply and somewhat subdue the price. The increase to token supply also didn't go down particularly well, with a lot of FUD going around, but after analysing, this wasn't a bad move and incentivized node operators to stay strengthening their network. Also, I should note, it was a community vote, not from the devs. Given all of that, the risk is definitely high with Rio, as to be expected with small caps, but the return potential is also high. It just takes some awareness, partnerships, or even just the RWA narrative to swing around, and this could go on a serious run just like before. Cardano, gonna make this one quick, straight here. I was a fan of this in the previous cycle and I was invested, made decent money, but fucking hell, this ecosystem moves so slow. I don't see what sort of adoption or spark or catalyst would allow this to bring back serious returns. Yeah, it seems like it could land a potential ETF or be included in some kind of digital assets fund, but is that enough to pump this individually to an appropriate level return for a crypto altcoin? Why would you choose ADA over ETH or Solana? They are lower risk and would probably provide similar, if not even better returns. I'd personally avoid it unless you've been an early investor and are sitting on a large bag. Even then, taking profits and rotating into something else would probably be my strategy. I have chosen to include Verasity as I wanted an example of the kinds of projects you should be avoiding. This had a huge run in the previous cycle and it did very well. I do remember a few years back kicking myself for missing it. But I am seeing people on X maintaining conviction in the project and seeing accumulation over the previous 12 to 24 months or so, even as much as in recent weeks too, and I literally cannot understand why. Let's take a look at the chart. It looks so bad. From a technical perspective, do you really think this can make a recovery and shoot to previous highs? Because that's the sort of chatter I'm seeing on socials. I'm not sure what niche they fit into exactly. I don't know how strong the advertising, metaverse, gaming, or whatever narrative they're trying will be this time around, but what I do know is the risk is very high when you see this kind of chart from a project which has been in this space for many years now. There have been reports and rumors of hacks, dumps, exploits, lots of FUD on a consistent basis over the last few years, to the point where I don't actually know how people still believe in the project and for what reward. The pumps we've seen in recent months have been lackluster anyway. What's the point of a 3-4x if it only lasts a few hours? As an active trader, that's completely fine, trade these charts, but as investors, would you really have had the time to take your money out before the drop? That's just a question to think about, your own strategy. For these reasons, it's a relevant example of a high risk, low reward play, the complete opposite of what you should be going for. You are taking ridiculously high risk for pretty much no reason here. I apologize if I offended any Verasity fans out there. I just need to give my genuine opinion. There are so many better projects in which you can gamble your money. Solana is an interesting one. We all know about Sol, so a breakdown of the project isn't necessary. This was stealing the show last year and took all the liquidity away from Ethereum. The issue with Sol is it may be gaining the rep for being the meme chain. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, as previous demand has shown, but if we are going to be swinging to utility, will institutes, large investors, developers be building on Solana? I know AI agents is a big category on there, but Ethereum has AI, DeFi, RWA. Why would one choose Sol over ETH? I don't mind Sol though. If it lands its own ETF, which is looking likely, then of course I expect a price surge at some point. We probably will get meme mania in the future again, which will bring more and more liquidity back to the chain. Trump's token was launched on Sol, which is the biggest cosign possible, which also brought it to retail's attention and got them more familiar with the network. However, we did have the FUD earlier in the year due to potential insider trading, and the network has also gone down in the past, but it bounced back and has solidified itself as one of the top coins. Pretty low risk for decent reward at this point. One of my favorite projects from this cycle on a fundamental level next, Qubic. I believe I made the first video on Qubic on YouTube, the first that really got a lot of attention last year. This is similar to Casper in the sense of it's trying to be a groundbreaking layer 1. It has been mentioned countless times within this community, Qubic is trilemma solving with unique technology, quorum based, utilizing proof of useful work. It is an AI layer 1 blockchain with AGARTH, a component looking to achieve artificial general intelligence, something which hasn't been done before. Feeless transactions with instant finality. The claim was that Qubic was capable of up to 55 million TPS, and when this came out there was a lot of skepticism. However, they were audited by Certic recently, who certified them as the fastest blockchain in the world. 15.5 million TPS. Fucking ridiculous. Combine that with a very, very dedicated community and team leader CFB, the mastermind behind IOTA and other projects. This guy is a damn crypto genius, and to bet against him is a brave move to say the least. Given that short pitch, it's crazy to me how the market cap is just 170 million. I feel like I must be missing something. I haven't even mentioned how Qubic is now actively mining Monero or the deflationary tokenomics, but the fact it's the fastest blockchain in the world should make it a multi-billion-dollar project in the future, and then you throw in AGARTH, smart contracts, and more and more. But I have to be honest, price action was good at the start, and then Qubic went through a lot of FUD. People were questioning the tech, questioning CFB, which led to sell-offs. There were delays in AGARTH too, and in the summer of 2024, I said that Qubic is the highest risk-reward play in crypto. And in the November pump, it pulled a nice 3-4x before crashing back down with the rest of the market. I think from this point, the risk return remains incredibly high. More marketing, it's more accessible to people now. Please note that this reached $1 billion in market cap whilst only being on a few tier 4 exchanges. It's now on multiple tier 2s with rumours of a tier 1 listing soon. I think that Qubic is the perfect example of a high risk, high reward play. The risk is still high, lower market cap, there's been FUD in the past, we're still waiting to deliver on AGARTH. But the reward, this could genuinely hit billions and billions of dollars, and no one should be surprised. A 10x, 20, 30 or even higher are all very possible. Ripple next. I'll be completely real, I ain't a fan of this coin and never really have been. I always told people in real life to avoid it, and then it just went on a madness last year, so yeah, take my advice with a pinch of salt. But nah, I ain't a hater. It's not that I don't want people holding projects to do well. I wish success onto everyone. I just thought a lot of the hype and the market cap was unwarranted and overblown. The fundamentals, the amount of centralization, it never really moved me. It was constantly facing lawsuits as well, so yeah, I never would have chosen XRP as an investment. Having said all of that, the resurgence it found at the end of 2024 was nice to see, and I am happy for those who made money. The increasing regulation, the cosigns in the real world, and the way it stood the test of time means the risk is low with XRP. And in all honesty, the potential reward is actually relatively okay. I still wouldn't buy it, but with the ETFs being hinted at, potential more adoption, if this hit $3, $4, would anyone be surprised? Not after the rally last year. It could have used up a lot of its juice already though, just something to be wary of. Quilibrium is another project which I have mentioned multiple times on this channel. It's another very techy, very revolutionary coin. The main aim is to be the new internet, so to speak, decentralized, private. Think Amazon Web Services, but the Web3 version, where it looks to completely change the status quo. I'll quickly show this grid I made to compare the two so you can get a better understanding. Feel free to pause and take a look. The technology inside Quill is superb. Sharded hypergraphs, multi-party computation. There is high TPS, the tokenomics are decent, the community is very strong and believes in the principles set out by the project lead Cassie Hart. She's ex-Farcaster, ex-Coinbase engineer, and she's another gigabrain in this space. Quil looked set to go on a massive run last year, and to be honest, it kind of did. It was fair launched, no VCs, so where did it all go wrong? Well, a mixture of things. Delays hit the project, promises of upgrades were pushed back time and time again, which in crypto cannot happen. This is a fast-paced industry, and if you don't get right, you'll get left. So, not hitting deadlines, then came the coordinated dumps. Miners who received a huge amount of tokens dumped just before the 2.0 launch together. Some say it was an insider cabal. Regardless, that didn't help. But where are we now? Well, we're on the verge of 2.1, the biggest upgrade so far, which will bring devs and utility and hopefully the native token to Quilibrium. If there are no more delays, if it can launch successfully, I do expect a price surge from Quil. It's around a 10x to its previous high. Current market cap is within the 40 to 60 million range, depending on various tokenomics data. This does have the fundamentals to be a multi-billion-dollar project in the future, which would be crazy returns from now. I know a lot has to go right. I called Quil the highest risk-return play in crypto when it was 2-3 cents, and this is another example of extremely high risk, but coupled with extremely high returns. My community knows I've been singing Anyone Protocol's praise for the longest time. Another one of my highest conviction plays in crypto. A depin privacy play, looking to be the largest private anonymity layer in the world. Scratch that, it actually already is the largest private layer in the world. It was previously Tor browser, which has around 7,000 relays, but anyone right now has over 12,000. Simply crazy. This project ticks all the right boxes for me. This team has continuously built in the good times and the bad. The community is extremely strong. The tokenomics are top. The partnerships are excellent and abundant. It was fair launched. The roadmap is exciting. It has already existing proven use case and proven technology. New updates come out on a regular basis. The most recent exciting one was the announcement of being onboarded onto Apple's development program with their iOS app launching soon. A direct link to Apple. How many crypto projects can say that? I have so much to say about this one, so I will be making an updated video soon. I can't believe it's only $40 million in market cap. I was buying more when it dropped to 25 cents and did tell this community it was a great buy at that price. I can see this hitting double digits in the future. $10 is my realistic target, around a 20x from now. I have to compare it to Helium, a similar project in the last cycle which went to 5 billion. This time around, the use case is stronger, the tech is better, and they even stole the developers from H&T and onboarded them onto anyone. The risks are obviously it's a low cap coin, but also the narrative, privacy. We've seen what happened to Monero, and there could be some pushback here. It may struggle to get larger partnerships, or exchanges, or regulations could come, and it's definitely something to note. But for me, 1 billion MC is a very achievable target for anyone in the future, and I really like the risk reward from these levels. I've mentioned this final coin countless times, so I want to keep it short and sweet. BIttensor. This will be the #1 AI project, not just this cycle, but in years to come. It's situated in the strongest narrative, artificial intelligence, and being the digital marketplace for AI, I can't see anything coming and taking over its spot for a while. The tokenomics are the same as Bitcoin, it even sounds like Bitcoin, may feel like a dumb point to make out, but when retail hear BIttensor is the Bitcoin of AI, they're absolutely going to pump this coin, hoping it gets to 100k too. It's on all the top exchanges like Coinbase, Binance. The recent dynamic Tau upgrade has absolutely changed the game with the subnets, and once more and more people get wind of what this thing is, I do expect it to go crazy. Guys like Barry Silber and Grayscale are ridiculously bullish on the future of this coin. Its risk is severely reduced considering the fact it is already a multi-billion-dollar asset. It's part of Grayscale's AI fund. It's on all the top exchanges. However, the returns possible even from here are impressive. If I show you the top 20 projects in crypto from the peak of last cycle, along with their market caps, then asked you, what do you think the biggest AI coin should be worth? I wonder what sort of numbers you would speculate. If Dogecoin got to 70 billion, Cardano got to 90 billion, Tau is 3.5 billion. Yes, it can 5x. Yes, it can 10x. Yes, it can 20x. These numbers aren't pulled from nowhere. Comparatively, with the tech, the narrative, the partnerships, the tokenomics, the use case, it can and most likely will end up one of the leading coins. The risk is reduced significantly being a top 30 coin right now, but the potential to climb the ranks and make investors very high ROI is still there. So that's the chart, guys. Slightly messy, but I think visually you get the idea. In an ideal world, this segment is where we want to be looking. The sweet spot, low risk, high returns. But let's be realistic, that's not really possible in crypto. And to be honest, in life in general. Very few coins, if any at all, will be here. But everyone's strategy will be different. Some of you may wish to stick to these safer blue chips. Some of you may be mooners or doomers, to each their own. Other factors need to be considered to optimize your own strategy, be it age, capital, time frame, and more. But just make sure you avoid the coins in the danger zone, taking on unnecessarily higher risk for mediocre returns. I hope you all enjoyed. I may do this again if it goes down well with other coins in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate the ongoing support. Join the free Discord and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.